Hey, what's up, everybody? Oh, wow, I got an awesome guest this afternoon, Joshua from Mind Over Matter Health and Fitness. And this episode is really going to be concentrating on the wellness industry, but also just health and wellness in general. So, Josh, thanks for making time. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good, Anthony. Thank you for having me. I
Oh, no
appreciate
problem.
it.
So, let me ask you something. So, what got you into this particular industry, the health and wellness industry, the training industry? What made you venture into this industry?
Yeah, I that's the number one question that I get, and that is the direct question. I wish I could say that this was a divine plan. I just sort of stumbled into it. I had the background of like a high school athlete, and I actually went to school for something called sports psychology.
Oh, okay.
So I was really in that track anyway, and it just sort of developed into like a love and a passion for all things fitness and wellness on both the physiological side as well as the mental, psychological, and the mental components side of it as well.
Awesome. What did you actually, because I'm an athlete myself in high school too.
Yeah.
So what did you play? What was your sport of
Right.
choice in high school?
So I did everything. I was like all season. So I did I ran track, I played basketball, and I grew up on Long Island, and in Long Island everyone plays lacrosse.
Got
So
it.
those were like my three sports
Okay.
throughout the season.
Okay.
And I was just always that type of kid. I was like sort of predisposed to doing all athletic endeavors. But I do point this out to a lot of my clients. I was never the top peak athlete. That was not me. I think people think what I do that was just sort of I was the athlete that had to work as hard as everyone and
Right.
anyone else, which I
Right.
think is what got me more into it, that I had
Okay.
to put that time and effort in.
Awesome. So wait, were your parents or anybody in your family athletic, or no? You're just
Not at all. Like, maybe a little bit of baseball in the background, which is funny, that's one of the sports I didn't choose,
okay.
but I think that probably speaks to more than me as a kid doing the opposite of everything my parents wanted me to do.
Right. Okay. Cool.
That
Well, no,
was
I
more
get
that.
you. No, totally.
Yeah.
So let me ask you, if some people are watching this now, and so mind over matter, health and fitness. I mean, okay, I know what the moniker means, but like, so what exactly do you do? Someone comes to you and you offer them what?
Right. So, no, that's a great question as well. We are essentially a small team of health and fitness practitioners. Our big three disciplines are personal training, Pilates, and yoga. We also Mind over matter. It's not just a name; it's a discipline. It's a way of life. So we offer things like meditation, Tai Chi, Qigong, mindfulness. We have specialty instructors. We have a marathon coach. We have a triathlete. We have a boxing instructor. We have some dance instructors. So we're almost like a one stop and shop fitness service.
Yeah. Well, that's awesome.
That's what we offer pretty much. Even within that, there's certain niches. Every trainer has their own specialty. I think that's paramount, is offering the diversity.
Right. You mentioned that, mind over matter, and I think, and I don't have to tell you this, but in this day and age where people are struggling with mental health issues, it's an epidemic, and I always tell people, and actually, you probably know this, but the Journal of American Medicine and many other medical journals have released a study a year or two ago saying that exercise is 2 times more powerful than any antidepressant pill you can take. So talk about mind over matter. I mean, that blew me away. I was just like,
Isn't that
"Whoa,"
amazing?
and we're not talking like climbing Kilimanjaro, just
Yeah.
exercise, getting out, moving. I mean, talk a little bit about that. I'm sure you probably see the transformation in your clients from when they start to even just a month out. I mean, just getting out and moving and exercising. Speak a little bit about the power of exercise.
Yeah. I will say this to your point, and like, about it doesn't have to be climbing Kilimanjaro, but pun intended, the more difficult summit sometimes is the mental component
Hundred
versus
percent,
the physical. Uh,
100%.
do think, you can make physical changes quicker than mental. The mental is the longer game, but the reward and the promise at the end of that is life sustaining. So
100%.
if you're getting into fitness for just the physical component, that's going to take you only so far. It'll get you maybe your immediate goal, like I want to drop 20 pounds before my wedding, or I got my class reunion coming up, I want to look this way. It'll get you there, but for a long sustaining time frame, you definitely have to wrap your mind around it. But oh my God, there's litany of all these studies that show It's that simple. It's exercise and the
Yeah,
releasing of these
endorphins.
endorphins and epinephrine and all these serotonin and all these physiological components to it. It is you will feel better and look better, but feel better first.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Now, by the way, before I forget, and I'll ask you at the end, but where can people contact you and find you? Can you give us your website, social media
definitely.
links, any kind of information? Yeah,
Yeah.
where do we find you?
Our best tool is really our website. It has everything about us, and that's mindovermatternyc.com. So we're based primarily in New York City, but because we do virtual work, we're essentially around the country. But we have boots on the ground trainers in the five boroughs, Long Island, Westchester County, and certain parts of Jersey. That tends to be our home base. So they could always check us out at Mind Over Matter NYC. And then there's a little bit more about our team and our wellness partners and the other services that we provide.
Great. That's awesome. So now let me ask you on a personal level, what do you love most about your business and your job? What gets you up in the morning like, yeah, I can't wait to crush it. What do you love most about it?
Yeah, that's a great question too. So it's funny as Mind Over Matter has grown and progressed and just begun so much more volume and followers. I've taken on more of a administrator, overseer, business owner role in the company, but at the end of the day, I still love the one-on-one training. I do. I think that's what got me into it. I still do a fair amount, not as much as I used to, but the interaction with the individual, that first minute, okay, what's going on? Where are you at? Where's your head at? What have you done? What haven't you done? And then taking all that and saying, okay, this is the direction that we're going to go. And then at the end of that half hour or hour, that you feed off that energy. They have such great energy after that that now I take that with me to the next person and then on like dominoes. I would still say that that interaction with the client, the
Yeah.
one-on-one client.
Yeah. I'm sure that, yeah, it's got to be everything. So, and then that
Yeah.
being said, what is one of your challenges as someone in the health and fitness industry? What's a
Yeah.
challenge that you typically see or that's current going on?
Yeah. Look, there's definitely a lot when it comes to fitness. If people are looking for a reason to not exercise, they don't have to look far, right? There's just excuses at every corner. But I would say sometimes the biggest challenge is, like anything in life, if you're going to be good at something, you have to be consistent at it first. And you have to lay the foundation. There's a handful of us that we start something and we are great at it right away, and that's so fantastic. I'm envious of those people, and that's whether in work, whether in relationships, whether in fitness, they do it and they're great at it. But most of us have to put the time, effort, and energy into it. We have to lay the foundation. So I think sometimes the harder thing, and that's where the mental capacity comes into, is understanding that this is an immediate result, but also a long term process and laying the foundation for that long term.
Right. So, yeah, and that being said, what advice would you give somebody who wants to start a business as a young 20-something-year-old out
Yeah.
there and they say, Josh, you have a successful business. What advice would you give me? What would be one bit of advice?
Yeah. I would say, make as many mistakes as possible.
Right.
That sounds bad, but
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
you and I both know it's like that's your learning tool right
Yeah.
there.
Yeah. You learn from your failures.
You do, and sometimes you learn the hard way. You do. You make mistakes, and how did I do that? Why did I do that?
Yeah.
What was I thinking?
Yeah.
How many times have we said that to
Of
ourselves?
course. I
But you
always
you
say
get better for it.
nobody wants
Yeah,
to fail, but it's necessary. And I always say pressure makes diamonds. You have to go through that. There's an old saying too that Einstein said. He goes, 99 times I fail, the 100th time I am right. So
I like
it's,
that.
we only see the successes of LeBron James or Einstein or Amelia Earhart
Yeah,
or whatever, but how
yeah,
many failures, how much heartache and pain. And that's, yeah, so that's a very sage advice from you. In
yeah,
closing, let me ask you this, us Americans, we like to, especially the New Year's coming up, and it's like, here we
yeah,
go, gym memberships, everybody's gonna be at the gym, and everyone loves to, whatever, pump the iron and yeah, hit the gym, and that's great. But talk about the other thing that most people don't want to address. They always want to pump iron, hit the gym, and hit the cardio, but nutrition. How important is nutrition?
I mean, if you, it's almost like you can't have one without the other. I really don't want to make it seem like you have to do both, and I don't want to make it seem like you have to have some impeccable diet where you only eat organically grown and nothing, as one of my trainers says, I don't need anything with a barcode, is what he always says. I love it. It's great. It's great advice as well. But you don't have to be perfect, but they need to parallel. I would say if like you're putting the time, effort, and the work into the gym and the exercise, you're gonna start eating better. You are, because you're doing all this stuff. You're gonna want to feed your body with something a little bit healthier. So I think incrementally you need to do a combination of both. Don't revamp your entire diet. Just start making subtle changes, and you're gonna have subtle results, and then those results will start to steamroll into something bigger.
Yeah, to your point, I think in this day and age, in this society we live in, everybody wants results yesterday. Nobody wants to put in 30 days, 60 days. By February 1st, nobody's in the gyms anymore.
I
So
know.
it's interesting. I was going to say also in your industry, well, what is and it just slipped my mind what I was going to ask you. But yeah, what do you find that people, I guess, when they're coming to you initially, what are some challenges that they typically, have that you have to go through with them?
Right.
What's a typical challenge for a newcomer?
So I think the two biggest obstacles when it comes to, one-on-one fitness, and maybe like everything else in life, time and money. Those are our big two hurdles with everything. And, the money, I wish, as altruistic as we are, we do charge for our services. So I can't always do that. But we do have like discounted rates that we do, and we do group rates. And
Yeah, yeah.
we try to do things where we can accommodate people of different budgets. So that's always a big component. And then the time. Time is the number one hurdle. We always say, like, time and health are your two biggest assets.
Yep.
You can live a long life, but if you're not living a healthy life, what is the quality of it?
Right.
So you have to set aside that time. And we started doing this thing a couple years ago where we changed. We work in person and we also work virtually with our clients. We cut down our virtual appointments to 30 minutes.
Okay.
We changed it because I think mentally the idea of an hour, I don't have an hour today, but the idea of, do I have 30 minutes? Everyone has 30 minutes. Everyone has 30 minutes that they can do. We found that we've been getting a higher yield with that. Maybe we even see people more frequently rather than seeing them once a week for an hour. Maybe we see them twice a week for 30 minutes.
Right. Yeah. Smart.
Because of that, I think it doesn't seem as daunting to find 30 minutes in your day to take care of your body and
Yeah.
your mind.
Yeah, especially if you're a newcomer. And, that's what I wanted to touch on. I just slipped my memory before. And that is the power of sleep. Nutrition is important. Working out's important. But, the famous cardiologist, Dr. Oz, says if you have a choice between an extra hour of sleep or an extra hour at the gym, always pick the sleep. I mean, we,
100%.
we forget, right? You know this as a,
Yeah.
as a
Yeah.
trainer, but rest is important. That's where our immune system resets.
Yeah. Through good sleep, anything is possible. Through bad sleep, nothing is possible.
Yeah.
There's no way. And I know we sort of try to rationalize these things to ourselves, or I'll make up for it tomorrow, or I'll make up for on the weekend. You can't, you and I know you can't bank sleep. You
Yeah.
can't,
Yeah.
you have to get it. And that's just quality of life, your exercise, your mood, your disposition. I think probably the sleep along with mindset are maybe the two more integral parts of it.
Yeah, and then I also wanted to touch on this, and we talked about it about 30 seconds ago, but getting a trainer, and you were mentioning people's budgets and stuff like that, and I would say to the viewers out there, if you think about what do we spend money on? I mean, alcohol, vaping,
Yeah.
soda, chips,
Yeah.
cake, coffee.
Yeah.
Going out with the boys, how many 90 pairs of shoes we have. We have all Netflix. Is that well, we have money for that, but somehow we don't have money for the greatest gift is health and wellness. And I tell people, listen, this holiday season's coming up. Gift somebody a gift certificate to a trainer, to somebody in the health and wellness business like yourself, mind over matter. But yeah, that would be a great gift for somebody, giving them a gift card,
Yeah.
a certificate to health and wellness, because heck, we give out alcohol and cake, cookies, and that stuff's not cheap. But yeah, what a great gift, that someone can give, utilizing, hey,
Yeah.
you guys. But
I agree. I agree. Why not do it that? It's almost the gift of instead of financial wealth,
yeah,
it's health and wellness. It's almost like giving somebody cash for their birthday rather than giving them some gift that they're never gonna use. It's almost you're making an investment. You're making an investment in someone you love.
Yeah, for sure. I also think, and as we wrap up here, I don't know if you see this, but this is just me putting on my psychology hat. But I think sometimes people, they're so used to being tired and worn out and not healthy and just not strong that it almost becomes their identification of who they are, and they're almost
Yeah.
afraid to reach out to something bigger and better and higher, and they almost don't think they deserve it. Going back to this mind thing, I think I have people in my circle that I'm like, you can be so much better, you can do it. But if you don't feel that you deserve it, or you feel like, well, no, this is me, I'm just this person that
Yeah.
identifies as out of shape, tired, oh well. No, it's not all well. I think people really don't understand the power that one has in their body, in their soul, in their mind. You can do it. That's not BS. But I think people are afraid of that agency, afraid of that power. So they just look to the stars or mystical, something should just fall in my lap. No, you are it. You can do it.
Yeah, I agree. Of course, I think it's a slippery slope, right? When you start thinking these negative things about you or accept that this is your lot in life, and it can be self-destructive. And there's the theory that the body doesn't know the difference. If you keep telling yourself these things, your body's going to listen. It's sort of there was a old line like Bruce Lee used to have about self-deprecation, like even in a sarcastic manner, it's not good. It's not good for the body. It really doesn't.
Yeah, yeah, you're 100%
Yeah,
right. That mind and body are linked. Now, in closing, where again can the viewers find you and
right.
contact you?
So again, Best Bets is Mind Over Matter NYC. That's the website. You can contact our team directly from there. And we have a intake form sometimes just to get you started. That way, if you're really serious, we can at least get a couple steps. And then when we connect, we try to set you up with who we think is going to be your ideal fitness match, as we say.
Awesome. Well, that's awesome. Thank you, Josh. Ladies and gentlemen, Josh from Mind Over Matter. Check them out online. You got the info. Ladies and gentlemen, happy holidays. I'm going to be signing us out. Josh, thank you for making time today.
My pleasure.
You got it. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.